なぜ? Nande? どうして? Why are there different ways to say why in Japanese? Let's find out. What's up, Japan enthusiasts? 皆さん、こんにちは. I'm Max. Welcome back to my channel where we dive into the world of Nihongo and Japanese culture. So today we're going to be talking about the most fundamental questions in any language. Why? So in Japanese, we have mainly three different ways to say why. なぜ, なんで, and どうして. So they all mean why, but they have different nuances, different feelings, and we use them in different situations. And also, it depends on that person's personality characteristic about which one to use when you want to say why. So I'm going to be breaking down these three words and talking about the formality levels and situations where you can use each one and differentiate them. All right, so let's get into it. First one is なぜ, and this is probably the most common one to learn as a Japanese learner, right? So maybe when you look up why in a dictionary or when you learn the word why, you probably learned なぜ first. But this why, なぜ, is actually kind of too formal and kind of like has a 硬い feeling when you use it. So we use it in writing, in emails, maybe in business settings or political situations and all those things that are formal. Personally, I don't usually really say なぜ except for really formal business scenes. なぜ sounds kind of like robotic too. It has that cold feeling and you're like analyzing something or like looking at the data and doing all those like scientific things and being too professional without emotions, like emotionless kind of feeling. So I tend to avoid using なぜ. And especially in anime and manga, there are characters who are like cool and like cold, but like, you know, they're a little kind of dramatic and you want to say なぜだなぜこうしたんだなぜお前はそこにいる Maybe you've heard of it before if you like manga or anime. If you say like なぜだ it's like so manly and so aggressive in a way. I would suggest you avoid using なぜ with your friends, family, with your people who you want to be close to, then avoid using なぜ. For example, in a business setting and then you want to ask a question, なぜそのプロジェクトは中止になったのですか? 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 It's like it's a serious situation, so you don't want to sound too friendly. You want to sound professional. So you are asking なぜ. Alright, so the next one is なんで. So なんで is basically a casual way to say なぜ. なぜ sounds formal, but なんで sounds pretty casual and friendly. So I personally use なんで the most, but it's the most natural way to say why in Japanese, in my opinion. And especially in Osaka where I live, like Kansai area, we use Osaka ben, and even in formal settings, I tend to use なんで. For example, instead of saying なぜですか, I say なんでですか, but with an Osaka ben intonation, we will say なんでですか? なんでですか? なんでなんですか? なんでなんですか? Even in those business settings with ですます and 敬語 is because I don't want to sound too formal. I don't want them to be like, oh, he's too professional, he's too formal. I feel kind of nervous talking to him. I don't want people to feel that way, so I tend to use なんで. In certain situations, you want to avoid using なんで because it sounds too casual. You need to know the context, you need to know the situations. But with your friends, with your family, with your peers, you would definitely just use なんで. Stick with なんで. For example, we can use なんで in a situation like you're so surprised that someone, like your friend doing something. なんで? なんで? And you don't want to say なぜ? that sounds really like not friendly. It's not like how normal people would react in Japanese. You would say, なんで? And also, for example, if you're talking to your friend and you were gonna go out on Saturday or this Saturday, and your friend told you that they can't go and they want to change the schedule, they want to change the plan, then you can say, なんで予定変わったの? なんで今週の土曜日行けないの? And actually, I've talked to an American person who has been living in Japan for 5 years in the podcast in my memberships for this channel, well, starting from the tier, Taco tier. So if you're interested in listening to us talking about the differences and how we actually use them, like in a super casual format in the podcast. So if you're interested, you can watch the special podcast. So please check it out. And thank you if you did. All right, so the next one is gonna be どうして, the last one, どうして. Yeah, どうして is like kind of like middle. It could be formal, it can be casual. I feel like it's the most kind of dramatic. It has the most feeling, emotions in the word compared to なぜ and なんで. So なぜ is the most formal and like most emotionless, except for like really like anger kind of emotions. Maybe なぜ could include that. なんで is like the standard, and どうして has the most emotions. You will probably hear that a lot in dramas and anime and manga, especially probably female characters who are pretty like soft and kind and calm. Maybe they would be like, どうして? どうしてなの? どうしてあなたはここにいるの? It's like angel or like spiritual or like that kind of soft feelings. That's どうして, どうして. And I personally never used どうして in my daily life conversations or even in business settings. どうして is just too dramatic to me. It could sound sometimes childish. It's just my opinion, so it might be different if you talk to somebody else and they might want to use どうして more often. In Osaka, especially in Osaka, I almost never hear どうして around me. They would always use なんで. Yeah, so どうして is basically actually how come in English. How come? You use how come when you want to say why sometimes, right? So どうして you can use it with です、ます and 敬語. And you can also use it in casual settings. So, for example, あなたはどうして泣いているんですか? It's like, why are you crying? どうして私を裏切ったの? どうして私を裏切ったの? It's like a dramatic scene. Probably you can find in anime or manga. どうしてその映画が好きなんですか? And you are asking what movie they like with a sincere feeling, sincere emotion, like you are sincerely curious about what movie they like. But if you say なぜその映画が好きなんですか? You're trying to analyze what they think, like you're trying to see through their brain or their thoughts in terms of the professional ways or like I don't know what, but formal and kind of cold, robotic way. So instead of saying なぜその映画が好きなんですか? Try using どうしてその映画が好きなんですか? Sounds more soft and sounds more nice and more friendly. So the formality level wise, なぜ is the most formal, どうして is the middle, and なんで is the most casual. But even though なんで is the most casual, I would highly recommend sticking with なんで. So in any situations, as long as you're not behaving rude, なんで works the best. なんで can deal with any situations. When you start hearing more and more and talking to more and more people, and then you will probably have a better understanding of the differences between なぜ, なんで, and どうして. And you might not perfectly understand what I explained in this video, but you will start seeing the differences. And you'll be like, oh, okay, this is what Max said. This is what Max was talking about. Yeah, now I feel it. Now I see it. Now I hear it. And that's when you start using probably なぜ、どうして。Alright, so that's it for today's video. Did you enjoy it? And did you learn anything new today in this video? Well, there are those subtle differences between なぜ、Nande, and どうして and you probably never really thought about it, or you were always wondering why. There are 3 ways to say why in Japanese. But now all the secrets are revealed. And if you have any questions, like I didn't talk so much about each one of them. So if you have any questions, please leave a comment. And if you have any requests for any other future videos, then please leave a comment below too. And now go out and practice using why in different situations in Japanese. Maybe in your brain, in your head, or if you are lucky enough to have a chance to go out and talk to Japanese people, try using なぜ、Nande, and どうして. If you like this video, please hit the like and leave a comment below. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, Max's Japanese, please subscribe and consider joining the memberships below. And see you in the next one. Bye.